Hello, and welcome to the final episode of our Haven Caveblock Reborn Modpack playthrough. Hope today's going swell and well for you so far. As for me, well, let's just jump into the episode. Yes, it's been quite a few days since I've been able to really hop on here and play, and it's also been quite a few days since I've been able to upload anything just due to life events. So it's kind of made progress. I've made a whole nother one of these rooms. So as you can see here, we had the blue room previously. I set up another power generator to give us approximately a million RF per tick. We set up the mob hostile neural networks, which we kind of set up last time, but I got it fully automated with the wither data module. You basically just have to go slay a wither 6 times with the basic blink, module, and then you're good to go. Mine is now self-aware, which is pretty cool. Now I do have like a auto crafter thing feeding it more and yada yada yada. So this is one way that you can get, quite a bit of EMC. As you can see here, we have 155 million. However, there is a better way, which we ended up doing, and that is, my friends, by simply taking netherite and making some netherite seeds using the Haven Alchemical Dynasty mod. And so that down here is being put into the same crafter that I was using for coal, except now it's making netherite, putting it into a chest, and then the chest is sending it over into this oak drawer, or rather the drawer is pulling it. So we have a whole lot of red matter. I'm not sure how many million EMC that is, but it's enough to basically get us anything and everything. And the reason that I say this is the last episode is a couple fold reasons. So I didn't really realize, looking through all the EMC, I don't take the time to like look at every EMCable item in most packs, because it's like, well, I'll discover that whenever I start playing. That's kind of the fun of it. But the EMC in this pack is a little defeating, it feels like, almost. So I set up this whole mechanism thing because I was like, okay, well, I want infinite mechanism resources, like what are they called? The circuits. And then I realized, well, they have EMC, so you really only have to make one. And then you take the circuit. And you can see I set up the autocraft for this one, and I was like, wait a minute, what the hell am I doing? I just make one circuit, and then I have infinite circuits. And that's actually the way that it is with a lot of stuff in this pack. There are a couple things along inside here that you can't automate. Well, actually, the only thing in this is the blank slate, which is fairly easy to get. So, like, this recipe isn't bad. But then when it comes to pressing it out, you need a demonic slate, which is fine, but that requires a tier 4 blood altar. And for the life of me, I've looked up things online, I've tried reading the tutorial on this, I tried combining the two different methods. I can't figure out how to upgrade the blood altar. I mean, it started out at a tier 2, not a tier 1, first off, and then I can't figure out how to make it a tier 3. So if anybody knows, if anybody would like to comment it below on what exactly went wrong here, then sure, I'd love to hear it. Now, one thing I will say is online, it looked like, well, hell, it's not going to show us in there. It looked like these were actually the bloodstone units, or bloodstone something from blood magic, bloodstone bricks. That's what it looks like in most of the online images and tutorials that I've seen. Is the top corners. However, if we go into the quest pack for blood magic, here at the tier 3 altar, it says surround it, or add another layer around your altar, place pillars. You don't know how tall the pillars are supposed to be, with glowstone or sea lanterns on top at the corners. This upgrade allows access to tier 3 items and rituals. But I don't know. I thought it was supposed to get more blood capacity whenever you upgraded it, and I've not seen it. I tried putting it all the way up against it, tried spreading it all the way out. So honestly, I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know how to use this blood altar. Maybe it's the mod, maybe it's the mod pack, maybe it's user error. So all that considered, I just haven't been able to do the demonic slate in order to, you know, fully finish this recipe sequence out. But further on past this, it's a little trivial at the end of the pack. I don't know how to say it and say it nicely. Because it was a very good pack and is a very good pack. I just think that the ending, and y'all know this for most packs for me, the endings are like just not. I think there should be something better than just creative items and putting large amounts of items in the way. You know what I mean? Because all this stuff is EMCable. Again, you just need the slate from Blood Magic. And then you go up to Elite, and it's, yep, all EMCable again. And then, yep, just a slate from Blood Magic. And then we got, it's all EMCable again, and a slate from Blood Magic. But it doesn't make sense that you need the demonic tier, or the demonic slate here to get the ultimate. But then in order to transfer the basic, you still need the demonic slate. So it's like, no matter what, you need this, whether you're all the way up in ultimate or all the way down at basic, you still have to get the same resource in order to finish the process. And the base, like, there's no difference or differentiation, you know what I'm trying to say, in the basics and the ultimates and all that. You need all of them in order to get the creative stuff. So there shouldn't be a basic and ultimate and elite and all this kind of stuff, because you need all of them. So it's not like you need the basics for these kind of stuff and you need the ultimates for these kind of stuff. You need all of them for everything. To me, logically, it just doesn't, I don't know, make a whole lot of sense. And then furthermore, and this is, again, I've never made a mod, so I can't really speak on how difficult it is. But there has been an update here. This no longer says that the transmutation table is in work. It says that it will probably never be added, which means we're only ever going to have the alchemical condenser. And I mean, it's okay, but it's going to require us to set up a whole lot of these in order to just automate the research tiers, which are kind of all the same recipe. And I can't figure out how to get the demonic slate to finish them. So all that being said, I really enjoyed this pack. I think it was a very well crafted pack. I think it fell apart a little bit in the end and some parts in the tutorials or in the quest. But if it's a singular person making the pack, then like, yeah, that's a lot of fucking work. And so like, it's still a really good pack, and I don't want the pack author to feel any kind of way because I'm not finishing it. I mean, hell, look at Project Architect 2. Fantastic pack, great author, and yeah, I still didn't finish it. I just have a problem with creative finishes because, and I've explained this before, but it makes no sense to me to give us creative outlets when for the entire playthrough in an automation pack such as this and Project Architect 2 and yada yada yada, the whole thing is that you're trying to get to the point where you have unlimited resources, right? You're trying to build up to the point where you have infinite iron and infinite gold and infinite netherite. So like giving me more infinite when I've already been establishing infinity power and infinity items throughout the entirety of the pack just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like you're giving me what I've already done. So and that's not just this pack. That goes for a lot of mod packs nowadays. They just put creative on the end, and that's, you know, hey, here's an ultimatum. And I just don't. I'm sorry. I just don't think it's good enough. Maybe it's good for some people. Maybe it's like, well, the actual ending is the last automation to get the creative thing, and I get that aspect as well. As like, okay, but you're ultimately trying to build for this automation aspect. But for me, if the automation aspect doesn't make any sense, or if it doesn't seem very if it doesn't appeal to me personally, let's put it like that, if it doesn't appeal to me personally, then I kind of get lost on it. And I'm not someone that feels the moral obligation to finish a pack just because I started it. You know, if I'm not having fun anymore, I'll be like, okay, well, I had fun and I think it was a good pack. We did a lot with it and like played around, and I got to test out some new setups right? So like it was still a very fun pack, and certainly no time wasted as far as the hours put in or any of that. I really enjoyed it, but I think it is time that we bid it adieu, because yeah, we're just to that point. We're at the end, and most everything I can get from this, honestly, I could probably get everything I need for the rest of the pack from this stack of red matter blocks, because 269 million is kind of a lot, and we got, I mean, 269 million a couple times over. Actually, I do want to see how much this is. Where's my dank at? There it is. See, because if we put them all in here, I should be able to theoretically add up how much I have in total. So let's go grab the rest from over here as well. And we'll see what EMC we managed to get to, because it's still quite a bit. 2 billion. 2 billion EMC. Right, because 2,000 million is 2 billion. So that's still pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that all in all. I did really want to finish the green and the yellow room, but honestly, I don't need them. This was going to be the final place for crafting everything. Which, I mean, we can do this as well. This I had pre-set up because I didn't realize, how frustratingly annoying trying to figure out the blank rune into the whatever was going to be. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. That way we can do at least one of these ultimate tier recipe things and not feel too shabby about it, right? Like that? Is that correct? 1, 2, 3, and then yeah, those are all like that. Okay. Wait, what about on the top part? How does that work? No, it's just 3. Okay. All right, and then we surround it in basic control units. And I don't think I'll need a button on this because the recipe is an actual recipe and I'm using every single slot. So theoretically, yeah, it should just form all together. Let's see what this, boop. All right, so there we go. We got the incomplete research tier basic. And again, you would just put this through here, which all of these are EMCable minus this, but all of these are EMCable. So you just run it through several times and you're good to go. And for those of you wondering what that setup might look like for us specifically, if you've been following the series and maybe copying stuff, yada, 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 it would be over here, right? We would just put everything we need in the top slots, in the hoppers, send shit through, and honestly, at this point, I'd probably loop it just back through infinitely, take it from this one back to the beginning. But yeah, I mean, that's how that setup would work. And if you want to have a way to turn off your deployers, you can have this clutch. See, whenever the clutch is depowered, it'll work. When it's powered, it's off. And so that's a good way to have an assembly line where you have multiple machines, but you don't necessarily need to use all those machines. Because if these are unpowered or powered, however you want to call it, if they're on, if they're poking like this, then when an item comes through, it's going to stop here always. But if you turn it off, you can see it can keep on going. So, yeah, like I said, I had a lot of fun with this pack. This video should not have taken this long for me to get out. Honestly, I meant for this to come out the day after the last episode. But it just ended up being the weekend, and so I was like hanging out with family, and then now my son's sick, so we just haven't had a whole lot of time to get in and record. So we do it when we can, and we do what we can with what we have. I appreciate the pack dev. I'll certainly be checking out more packs from them in the future because I do think that this was a very fun twist on a cave block experience. And even despite the blood altercations and the fact that the research tiers were kind of repetitive, it was still really fun. And honestly, the ending of packs never really sit too well with me. So I like the ending for, I'll put it this way, okay? The ending for Sky Factory 4 was really good. You have to prestige, and there's this whole like new mechanic. And I get that you can't do that for every mod pack, and that the coding for that is pretty difficult, and all this and onward. But I do think that there's something to be said for just not doing creative items. I know every mod and their mother has creative items in there to where you can, use it if you want to theoretically. But there's also and this goes for all mod packs as well. I know the ATM mod packs, they do this just as well. You have to get the ATM star, but then what does the ATM star give you? Creative items. Well, you don't need the creative items. You just made the freaking ATM star. How far did you have to go to get that thing, you know? So, anyways, it's just a problem that I have with the structurism of all mod packs in current date. I think we need different kinds of rewards. Send me to a different dimension. Put a little message. Like I would play an entire mod pack just for there to be a little hidden message at the end. That's like you got to do the entire mod pack just to decode it. You got to do the entire mod pack just to build a monument. You know, you have to use all these blocks in this certain form, and then it makes a big ass mega machine. That all sounds pretty cool. How difficult is it to code? Probably pretty difficult. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That doesn't sound like a fun time to code, at least to me. But I also don't know Java coding, so maybe that's why. So, point is, great mod pack. The ending for me wasn't pleasant, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't a good ending. Just that I don't typically do creative endings, and y'all know that. And I'm also just now realizing that my wall design over here kind of has this little Among Us type character in the middle. You know, the little red one. It's not perfect, but it's very similar. Anyway, so I do want to thank everybody once again for having watched the series. I do apologize that this video in and of itself took so long, because I knew that this was the next episode much sooner than you know, what this video is coming out. And so I was really trying to get it out so we could actually be like, okay, now let's take a little breather and we'll move on to another pack and yada yada yada. But you know, life happened, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I do really like the base that we came up with for this. I think it was very cool, and this is certainly something that I'll probably play on in the future, because I really loved this central room here with all the portals, and each one having sort of its own set automations. I think this was a really cool and unique base design idea, so we'll probably be revisiting this in the near future. I'm not sure what pack we'll be moving on to. If you have any suggestions, of course, leave them down in the comments. We typically try to play newer packs. I don't mind playing an older pack, but it kind of needs to be a good purposeful reasoning. I have thought about going back and playing Sky Factory 4 a little bit, just because it is such a unique take on it, right? And I'm always talking about, this is what I want for an ending, and this is and that and whatever. So like actually seeing why, you know, you, the audience, maybe some newer mod pack players, maybe it would better sort of explain why I prefer that style of an ending. But I don't know. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Again, I appreciate everybody, even the mod pack devs, where I'm like, I'm not finishing your pack. I still really enjoyed the pack. I still logged a ton of hours, and I would still highly recommend them. So don't take the ending as an attack or any of that. You know, take it with a grain of salt, and remember that this is just one man's opinion in a world full of opinions. Thanks everybody once again. Sorry for the shorter episode. We will be back with more content in the very near future, and I do appreciate all of your patience. Just, you know, throughout time. I think you're pretty awesome for that. So, as per the usual, I do hope you all stay safe, stay awesome, and stay crafting. Until next time, you beautiful people. The end. Peace out. Whatever.